Dhammam Saranam Gachchami Sangham Saranam Gachchami Buddham Saranam Gachchami Dhammam Saranam Gachchami Sangham Saranam Gachchami Buddham Saranam Gachchami Dhammam
Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakhantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sada soti bhavantu me Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakhantu sabba devata sabba dhammanubhavena sada soti bhavantu me Bhavatu
Buddhists firmly uphold individual freedom of choice and celebrating the diversity of human thoughts and ideas. It rejects the imposition of beliefs of others, making tolerance a central tenet of its teaching. It also emphasizes moderation, the middle path, a way of life that seeks balance and steers clear of extremes. The principle forms the foundation of Buddhist action towards others, reminding us to guard against excesses that so often manifest in today's interconnected world. Ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka's leadership in preserving and spreading the teaching of Buddhism throughout the history is remarkable and a major part of the diplomatic engagement of the country over 2 millennia. From earliest days, Sri Lanka maintained strong Buddhist ties with South Asia and Southeast Asia, including then kingdoms such as Indian conquerors. The Lord Buddha himself said, "One may conquer millions in battle, but the one who conquers himself, greatest of all conquerors." This powerful statement reflects the values.
Homage to the supremely enlightened Lord Buddha, most eminent, most senior Venerable, also His Her Excellency and Chair of Conservative Women's Organization London region, and especially our Mrs. Ajantha Tennakoon for giving us the opportunity to come and share some thoughts in Buddhism on this World Buddhist Day event. So my purpose is to share some thoughts from the Buddhist perspective for you to take away something from here. This is a takeaway. I offer this reflection of Buddhism first as a bouquet of flowers to the Blessed One, Supremely Enlightened Lord Buddha, who is known as the Light of Asia. One of the authors, Sir Edwin Arnold, has introduced in his book. So especially I like to wish everyone across the world very happy Sambuddha Jayanti, especially the 2650th Lord Buddha's birth anniversary on this year, and also 2615 enlightenment anniversary of the Buddha, also 2570th great passing away into Parinibbana of the Lord Buddha. As you all know, the basic teachings of all the Buddhas is to be free from all unwholesome and focus on wholesome. Develop skillful merits by eradicating particularly the 5 hindrances. Purify the mind, establishing in 4 frames of mindfulness. That is the admonition of the all Buddhas. Today I have been asked to say a few words on a particular concept called mudita. It's a Dhammic concept translated as joy or happiness, particularly in the etymological translation explains altruistic joy or sympathetic joy. In general terms, the pleasure that comes from delighting in others' well-being. So this is slightly different to happiness. It's called sympathetic joy. It of a deep advanced state of mind, the sympathetic joy. I hope everyone is interested about happiness and joy. It depends on if I ask you, would you like to eat a pizza? That depends how hungry you are. If you are really interested to learn what is happiness and how we can improve the happiness, and happiness is contagious, how we can spread it. That is the purpose of Buddhism. Buddhism talks about suffering, but many people forget, no, it is also how to achieve the happiness. He explained about how someone can free from suffering, which is the reflection on the happiness. So this concept, mudita, that is altruistic joy, is like a light bulb in our heart. If the light is not there, it's like dark, depressed, worried, sad, stressed. Of course, we talk about all that, but negative natures of the mind. But we very rarely talk about the positive and how we can improve the positive aspect of the mind. That is why even in the American Constitution it says everyone has the right to pursuit of happiness. So if you write a book in America on happiness, you can be a billionaire within 1 day. So I am going to just explain a little bit about what is sympathetic joy, mudita, and how we can benefit from it, and how we can cultivate from it. Normally in the Buddhist teachings, there are 4 noble truths and noble eightfold path, which encompass the central or middle path, madhyama patipada, that leads into the final liberation. We call dukkha nirodha marga sattva, path leading to the cessation of suffering. That in very essential nature is also cultivating the sympathetic joy, we can reach into the highest liberation. I will give some references from the original teaching, that if someone is interested to be enlightened, I hope, you can reach by cultivating that quality. If anyone wanted to best accomplishment of this very life, by cultivating this, you can make that success in this very life. If someone can't make success in this very life, that person can't really reach into the liberation. So therefore, it is a pragmatic, it's down to earth, not a dogma, that teachings on happiness. So Buddha encouraged every one of us to practice that. Happiness, Buddhism is not for the next life. Of course, we believe in next life. That is why Nibbana Paraman Sukham, the highest happiness, eternal happiness, is the free from all bondage, attachment and suffering. However, Buddha talks about worldly happiness also. There are 4 such happiness, Atti Sukha, to have something brings you some state of happiness. Bhoga sukha, just you are having something to enjoy yourself, is also a happiness. Ananda sukha, that you are not in debts, is also a very important part of happiness. So those are basically worldly happinesses, but the more advanced nature of the mudita, sympathetic joy, is very much in the state of being well, peaceful and progressive. There is a discourse in the Digha Nikaya, long length discourses, number 13, Tevijja Sutta. One of the few great teachers, religious teachers at the time of the Buddha, comes and explains in their own way to reach into the highest liberation. And Buddha said that simply by praying, you will not reach into the final liberation. For example, if you were in the other side of the Thames River and pray, may the other side of the Thames River come to this side, it will never happen. By praying, it will not happen. Mere praying, you have to do something, practice to make that happen. So similarly, Buddha said, by cultivating for sublime or immeasurable qualities, one can achieve their goals and ambitions in life. In that discourse, Buddha said here, O monks, a disciple lets his mind pervade one part of the world with thoughts of unselfish joy. Also the second, so the third, so the fourth, and thus the whole wide world above, below, around, everywhere and equally, it continues to pervade with the heart of unselfish joy. This, if someone develops this unselfish joy, abundant, grown great, immeasurable, without hostility, ill will, that person will accomplish all the happiness, all the success, all the development in oneself. So basically it is a state of mind that brings some sort of joy. It is different to happiness. In the traditional form, it's a bit of an attitude that parents has. I am just going into a little bit of a deep level of definition of what is mudita. Different to the happiness or different to even joy, we call sympathetic joy or altruistic joy. That is normally have the parents. Parents especially rejoice when their children doing better than them. So if someone is doing better than us, if someone can be really happy, that is what we call sympathetic joy or altruistic joy. So if we can think of other people and if they are doing well, normally the opposite of that is called envy or jealous. In the sense that, sometimes we say our neighbor's grass is always greener. So we have this competitive nature, comparing nature. Normally people say, my neighbor is buying a new car, they are going for a holiday, or they are moving into a new house, my husband is rubbish, I am still in the same house. So that's the competitive nature we all have in our lives that can create a little bit of guilt and a little bit of downside of the mind that leads into mental difficulties. According to Ayakema, one of the writer, and that person says that there is a far enemy and also near enemy to the sympathetic joy. Far enemy is the greed or feeling like jealousy, envy, that is the far enemy. Near enemy to the sympathetic joy that will hinder you to reach into that is feeling deficit, feeling insufficiency, feeling lack, not good enough. If you can avoid that, then you will be able to achieve the happiness of the sympathetic joy, which is a medicine in a way, which is really a powerful concept in our heart. So, Dr. Harris, one who written a book called Journey to Buddhism, Dr. Elizabeth Harris, and she explained it's as an inner spring of infinite joy that available to everyone at all time, regardless of circumstances. The more deeply one drinks of this spring, the more secure one becomes. In one's own abundant happiness, in the more bountiful it becomes to relish the joy of other people. So it is joy also traditionally as the most difficult to cultivate for miserable qualities. So if someone develop this joy, that can develop a lot of affection and a lot of success, contentment within oneself. Especially within going into the psychological aspect, Buddhist psychology as well as Western psychology has taken this concept, particularly for mental health, and even other things like even blood pressure, Alzheimer, dementia, and all those situations. They take this concept, especially the Harvard University of Medical School and some affiliated researchers develop concept of this to say that it can really help in our everyday life. For example, if you do something and it makes you feel good, there is in the brain some hormones that encourage you to do it again and again. For example, if you are feeling tired and you put on the telly or take your mobile phone and surf on the social media, it stimulates some of brain hormones and make you feel happy. And if that hormones is a positive, good hormones, it encourages you to do it again and again. You know what are the positive hormones? Anyone can say what are one of the positive hormones? Huh? Endorphin, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, those are the positive hormones. And the psychologists were saying, if you are developing such of those hormones, it encourages you to do more and more. For example, if you are in a difficult situation, go for alcohol or some other problems, that will encourage you to do addiction. So it is called kind of an unwholesome state of mind. It may give you a quick gratification, but it will lead into a lasting difficulties. Whereas if you sit and practice little bit of sympathetic joy as a form of meditation, you will have an enduring impact into your life that can even overcome sadness, anxiety, worries, uncertainties, fears, and so many other things. So I will not take much time. I can go a little bit about more on the concept of this, but happiness, sympathetic joy is very much a ripple effect. What you are doing, it can make a real change into the society and to the world around us. That is why Buddhism is a message of happiness. Understanding the contagious nature of happiness can be beneficial for fostering positive social environments and promoting mental health. The study found that happiness is contagious, but sadness or negative emotions are not like that. Maybe we cannot change the whole world, but we can change us. So many people are struggling because they don't know the way how we can develop, but something we need to know that change is possible. So you will hear about the impermanence, everything subject to change. Even the neuroplasticists talk about your brain is still at any time of life, you can still make some positive changes into your life. Focusing on joy or sympathetic joy, individual can contribute more uplifting atmosphere for themselves and those around us. Hope you will understand the amazing value of cultivating this quality and start from today giving bit of priority in your hustle, bustle and busy life to start these reforms within. That's called hedonic set point. It's like a thermostat we put in our mind to improve the quality of the happiness. When you make positive changes in your life, those effects ripple out from you and increase the happiness around you. Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitartha. May all beings be well and happy.
Sir.
I'd love to thank our Venerable.
Mangalam rakkantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubbhavena sada soti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkantu sabba devata sabba dhamma bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkantu sabba devata sabba sangha bhavena sada soti bhavantu te bodhana siddhi
Saranam Gachchami Dhammam Saranam Gachchami Sangham Saranam Gachchami